Bet horse racing on DRFTV. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the first leg of a 50-cent late pick 4 at Santa Anita on Saturday. This is the rescheduled Santa Ynez race. It's a grade 3 for 3-year-old fillies going 7/8 of a mile. Let's take a look at this field. Kentucky Oaks points are on the line. The number 3 Justique comes into this race with a growing reputation. She's 4-5 on the morning line off a last to first win in the Santa, and she looks like she has a powerhouse late kick.
Yeah, she does, and it's still too early to give up on her as a distance horse, Dan. But it kind of feels like, at least at this stage, she's just a closing sprinter. She likes to sit back last, and then she comes with a pretty big run through the stretch.
We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector. I have a feeling Justique will not be on the lead, and lo and behold, there she is, the number 3 Chicklet in last. Parody, who was run down by Justique last time out, should show speed, and I won't be surprised if the 6 Ice Dancing is up close. She made a very easy lead going a 2-turn route last time out, but I think if she's aggressively handled like many of Flavien Prat's horses in these sort of races, she can get close.
Yeah, that's probably true. I just didn't really see a lot of speed from Ice Dancing in any of her races until they stretched her out last time, Dan. I'm not convinced that she's the kind of horse who's better sprinting. So we'll see how the cutback works for her. Parody, to me, is a horse who it's a Baffert horse going this distance as she went last time. They got to send this horse.
Number 1 in here is Satin Doll. This horse won her career debut at Del Mar, coming from way off the pace at a humongous price at 5/8 of a mile. She then tried stakes competition in her next 2 starts. The most recent start to me is a throwout going 2 turns over a synthetic surface. We like cutbacks going 7/8. This is her best surface, and I don't think she ran that poorly in the Myrtlewood 2 back.
I didn't think she ran poorly in that race either. I mean, she was never a real threat at any point in that race. After getting what I thought was a decent enough trip from off the pace, in out, sort of forging on towards the end with no chance to win. Really, that winner of that race is pretty good, I think. More than anything else, Dan. And listen, she's a closer. The big favorite's a closer. I don't know if she's going to be able to outkick Justique, but I really liked this horse's debut from off the pace. I thought she ran really well that day, and maybe she's just finally back in a good spot here as she cuts back and switches back to dirt.
Like Satin Doll, the number 2 Fast and Shiny won her career debut going 5/8 at Del Mar, and then has lost her next 3 starts. But 2 of those races came on turf. The other one came in the grade 1 Del Mar debutante. Maybe she's a little bit dirtied up, and she did show a little bit of speed in her career debut, so perhaps she can stay close to the pace.
Yeah, I would think they would show speed in here. I mean, it's a tough call, but Baffert's got 2 horses, and you feel like they're both going to be forward in here. So we'll see how aggressive they get with one or both of them. I don't know. I guess you could just say with this horse, Dan, has a much better pedigree for dirt, is finally switching back to the surface, and did win her debut sprinting.
Justique is a perfect 2-for-2 sprinting. Her only loss came when 3rd is the favorite in the grade 2 Chandelier. Let's watch her last race, the Santa. They cut her back to this distance. She did not break very well, but the pace went in front of her. Justique swallows him up on the turn, looms boldly, and goes right on by.
Right. It's just a pretty easy win here. She was last up the backstretch, but she was never, so far outrun where you felt like she had too much to overcome, Dan. She made a nice run, sort of winding up around the turn to get on top of the leaders, and she won for fun. I mean, I don't have really anything clever to say about her. She's just way the horse to beat.
The Parody was no match for her. She finished 4th in the video we just showed you. That was her first start for Baffert. She made her career debut at Churchill Downs, and she actually rated from off the pace, going 5/8 of a mile. I think she's going to go to the frontier, and she might have an easier time of it. The pace was somewhat pressured in the Santa.
Yeah, I guess it was. I don't know. I looked it up on Timeform US too, and they have it color-coded red early. But boy, when I watched it, I didn't necessarily think that pace was, so fast that it gave Parody some kind of big excuse in there. And more than anything else, I just thought she was bad in that race.
Hunting Coco is in here for Bob Baffert, a debut winner at Del Mar. Tried stakes company in her last 2, beaten 10 lengths by Justique last time out in the Santa. One of the rare Baffert horses that doesn't have a ton of speed.
Yeah, that's true. I'll just say this about her, Dan. She got a perfect trip in her debut, but I thought she ran really well in that race. Another horse
Yeah.
just cleared off on a really fast pace. Now she just sat second, came through on the rail, and won really easily that day. Um, I realized that she kind of came up empty in the stretch last time, but I would go back and watch the replay of that race. Justique was,
Yep.
sort of sweeping around that field wide. This filly was in behind horses all the way around the turn, blocked in the upper stretch. And then by the time she came clear, the race was over. She had no run. I could give her the benefit of the doubt for that last race, though.
And if Timeform US is correct, and this pace is expected not to be very fast, why can't she get right up close and get first run on Justique turning into the stretch? A different sort of trip for both. Ice Dancing completes this field. Dick Mandela was really aggressive with this horse. Third in the Del Mar debutante, and her second lifetime start as a maiden. They ran her in the Chandelier as a maiden. Well, they do run maiden races in Southern California, and here's one of them. Fourth lifetime start for Ice Dancing. It's a 2-turn mile, and Ice Dancing get to the front in this race, and I think a lot of folks at Odds On were expecting her to put on a little bit more of a show than this, but it was a gritty enough win.
Yeah, it just sort of grinds away here, holds off this horse Challenger through the stretch and prevails. And this is after showing improved speed on the stretch out there. Now they're going to cut her back to 7. I don't know. I get that she was in a couple of graded stakes races early on, but I didn't really like her performances as a sprinter, and didn't know that I necessarily wanted her cutting back. But this is probably the right spot for her.
Nice attack post position for her, and I have a feeling that she's not a need the lead type. I think she made it by default last time out. Top pick time for the Grade 3 Santa Ynez. Justique is the horse to beat. We're going to try to upset the apple cart a little bit with Satin Doll at a price.
Yeah, I took her because she's going to be a price, and just because I do remember really liking her debut last summer. So we'll see if she can, find a way to get the necessary improvement here. If I could do it again, I might just go back and put Hunting Coco on top because she feels like a fair price. And as we've already talked about, she could get a better trip in this race. So I think she's interesting. And ultimately, none of it matters, Dan, because Justique will probably win.
She probably will. Satin Doll in against a good win in her last start on dirt. I like that Key of Life for Brad Cox. I want to keep an eye on her. 1356 for Mike, 1364 for me. We'll see if Justique wins her second consecutive stakes race in the Santa Ynez.